Hello and welcome back to Lorcana Villain. My name is Baker, and today I'm going to be talking all about the new cards coming in Lorcana's 9th set, Fabled. This is a predominantly reprint set. We are heading into our first ever rotation, where the first 4 sets of Lorcana, the first chapter, Rise of the Floodborn, Into the Inklands, and Ursa's Return will be rotating out. They will no longer be legal in constructed play, except those limited cards, well, I say limited, quite a few of them, that are being reprinted in Fabled. Now, this set is going to be releasing initially at select local game stores and some Disney parks on August 29th, and then the big box large retailer store release is officially September 5th. It was also confirmed by Disney Lorcana that 84% of Fabled will be reprints. 171 out of 204 cards in the set will be returning from the first 4 sets, and there'll be 33 brand new cards. And there's been mixed reactions to this. I'm just going to say straight, I don't have a problem with this. I think for the experienced competitive players, we are going to... The exciting thing is rotation, right? You know, cards that we can no longer use and now hopefully a shake-up in our meta game. And then there's still going to be some new cards to play with. And to be fair, most sets, there only ends up being X amount of, playable cards in the highest competitive meta as it is. Quite often, a lot of decks change very little, and you might see 2 or 3 cards incorporated, and that could still very much be possible from these just 33 new cards. But yeah, a lot of the set is going to be returning cards, but that being said, depending on what those returning cards are and how many of them are potentially meta relevant as we move into and past rotation, I think this actually has the potential to be one of the best selling sets in Lorcana since the first chapter, because if enough of it is playable stuff, like all the stuff that's reprinted, if enough of this is actually good and decent, and a large percentage of this set overall ends up becoming meta relevant, then my goodness, is that like a really good jumping on point for new players. It's a good jumping on point for new players anyway, with the first 4 sets rotating out and this being a chance to get everything that's being reprinted. But if a lot of the set is meta relevant, then that's going to help as well. So we'll see how much of it does end up being meta relevant, but I do think the potential is there for it to be one of the best selling sets of all time. We'll see if I'm wrong. That being said, I know some people will be disappointed that we're not getting a whole brand new set of new cards. Valid. I'm okay with getting some new cards and the shake-up in Lorcana being what cards are being rotated and the change in the metagame. And in 3 months, we're going to get a brand new set. So personally, I'm alright with this. Disney Lorcana have made a point of saying a couple of times, I think both Elaine Chase and Cooper have said this, that they don't plan for this to be the norm necessarily every year. It's not going to be every year we're going to get one huge reprint set. They're doing this now, and who knows, maybe they will do that in the future, but they've said a couple of times, hey, this isn't a locked-in thing that always the 4th set is going to be a large reprint set. We may scatter things out across a 4-set period, and I think that's going to happen anyway. Like last set, Reign of Jafar, we got the reprint of Dalmatian Puppy and the Captain Hook Forceful Duelist, both as alternate art, and I think there's every chance over the next couple of sets, the next one being Whispers in the Well, very excited for that, and then it's been confirmed we've got Winter Spell coming. There's every likelihood that there is a card that gets an alternate art treatment from sets 1 to 4. And in my interview with Steve Warner, I made the point of saying to him, if a card doesn't get reprinted in Fabled, is it gone for good? And he was like, no, absolutely. You know, there's always a chance that something could come back. So I'm still very excited for Fabled, and it's time to get stuck into some card reviews. I'm going to focus today's video on brand new cards. We may get through all of them that have been revealed so far. We'll see how we go, but that'll be the priority today, and then further card review videos, we will take a look in more detail at the stuff that's being reprinted. But yeah, we've got some fun new cards, and we're doing some singing today, baby. You better believe it. If you don't like some cheese with your card reviews, this is not the card review video for you. We're going back to basics, so let's get into it. A shout out to the channel sponsor, Cardmarket. If you're looking for Lorcana singles at competitive rates, then check out Cardmarket. But let's take a look at Fabled. I got myself a notion, and one I know that you'll understand. We set the world in motion by reaching out for each other's hand. Maybe we'll discover what we should have known all along. Yeah, One way or another, together's where we both belong. If we listen to each other's heart, we'll find we're never too far apart. And maybe love is the reason why, for the first time ever, we're seeing it eye to eye. Woo! It's been a while. Finally, we get one of the most iconic Disney songs in Lorcana. We have Eye to Eye. This is a Ruby 9-cost inkable Sing Together 9. Each player draws 2 cards and gains 2 lore. If 2 or more characters sang this song, ready them, they can't quest for the rest of the turn. So, no doubt, a very powerful card. This is a strong ability, right? Both players drawing 2 cards and gaining 2 lore. That's burst. Drawing cards is absolutely king. The problem very evidently being that our opponent is doing the same thing. Now, that's not always a deal breaker, right? We've played cards like Whole New World for a long while now where we're refreshing the opponent's hand as well, and we've come to learn, hey, if you can be the first to benefit off of that new hand and apply pressure to the board, then sometimes it doesn't matter that you're feeding them cards. And that will very much potentially be the case with this card, right? If you can set up a situation where you can sing this with 2 characters, so you're not paying 9 for it. So they're singing this, you're both drawing 2, gaining 2 lore, then you've hopefully got a plethora of ink to then make further plays. And hey, if you're combining this with things like Maui Sharks, whether you've got 1 or 2 on the board, and that's even more lore burst, then yeah, like there's still a potential really good payoff for playing this. It's dangerous, right? Because if your opponent is neck and neck with you lore-wise, then it might not be safe to give them the lore, even if it is safe to give them the cards, although sometimes that's going to bite you in the butt as well. But yeah, there is definitely some potential here. Thankfully, it is inkable. Even if it doesn't end up being like a 4 of, and if it's in a deck that just wants to run a lot of songs anyway, then it might absolutely be worth the inclusion. I think it's going to have to be a very specific sort of deck. I don't off the top of my head seeing this as something that's like a 4 of. Maybe it's a 1 or 2 of. We shall see. At the moment, I'm not convinced that this isn't like a, oh wow, this is a Ruby staple for sure. But it is very exciting that Ruby is gaining a new identity with singers in particular, and like my favorite ink. Like, if you were going to make a Lorcana Villain card, it would probably have Singer on it, right? People have said this to me anyway. So my favourite ink, finally getting access to the Singer keyword. I see you, Ravensburger. I see you, Disney Lorcana. I love to see it. So yeah, while this doesn't scream, yeah, this is going to go in a very traditional Ruby Amethyst control build, which is going to adapt anyway because of rotation, but I imagine there will be still be those control variants of Ruby plus Amethyst plus whatever. But it's cool, the idea that Ruby plus probably Amber or maybe something else, we could get more versions of playable decks of the same ink combination, which is something that I've always wanted, and something that I was really glad that was really, like, in Lorcana it felt like we were at a point where, well, we still are now technically before rotation, where the same ink combination can be 2 or 3 different decks across a tournament, and I love that. And that was the only thing I love the idea of rotation, but I was like, oh man, are we going to start to all of a sudden, like, now there's only 1 of each ink type? But maybe there's potential for there still to be, like, a variety of options. So this is a very exciting card. I'm not convinced how amazing it's going to be yet. We're going to look now at some, like, Singer synergy. We shall see, but it's very cool. So let's go on, of course, to one of the most exciting new cards to synergize with the new Singer identity that Ruby seems to be attaining. We have, finally in the game, Powerline, world's greatest rock star. Let's go. And the lore cast, the one at Gen Con, so jealous of Gen Con, by the way. Yo, jump on the Baker to Gen Con 2026 movement that started by the Illumineers and Zenulus and Garrick's Lorcana Lair. Shout out to you guys. I want to be at Gen Con, but going back to my point, they showed a video of the creation of this card by Nicholas Cole, who I had the pleasure to meet at the European Championship. Super nice guy, and I followed his work since Lorcana, like mainly courtesy of the Illumineers. But that video was amazing. It's the exactly the sort of thing that I want to see from Lorcana, more behind the scenes sort of stuff like that. So loved it, loved that video. And yeah, here's the card. Here's a 6-cost inkable, 6/4, quest for 2, shift 4, singer 9, and mash up. Once during your turn, whenever this character sings a song, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a song card with cost 9 or less and play it for free. But the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. So again, another example of clearly a very powerful ability and like a powerful card. How good will it be? That is what's up in the air, right? So obviously Eye to Eye is something that you could sing for free off of this. Although if you do that, then you don't get the Eye to Eye secondary ability of re-readying characters because you sang for free off of this, but maybe that doesn't matter. And what it really boils down to is what songs are we going to have post-rotation? We have had confirmation of A Pirate's Life and Be King Undisputed, which are two really, really good ones. Still praying on that Be Prep reprint, but I'm getting worried, guys, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Pirate's Life is a super significant one, and Be King's good, and depending on what in combination you are playing this with, that's going to open you up to different songs. So it's really hard to like judge the ceiling of this until we see the full list of songs. But even if it isn't great straight away, or at least like the top, like a tier 1, tier 0 deck. It's probably a fringe deck right off the back, I want to say. Or at least a version of it will be made that like is good enough. But as time goes on and we get more songs, like this is the sort of thing that you really want to keep an eye on, and like the potential is huge. So I'm a big fan of this card. How good will it be straight away in Fabled? Again, we need to see what the full song card list is. But even if it's not top tier in Fabled, this is a card that I absolutely think can just get better and better over time, so love it. And of course, we're going to want to shift onto our power line, and we have 2 shift targets revealed so far. First off, Powerline taking the stage. 2-cost Inkable, 3/2, quest for 1, singer 4. Nice and simple. Amber had their Ursula Vanessa and their Troubadour, the 2-cost singer 4, and now Ruby is getting a 2-cost singer 4. Troubadour had resist 1, and Ursula was a 1/4, so big and bulky, but we're trading that off for a higher amount of strength with this card, which I do think quite often is worse. I think you want your singers to survive, right? So I think we would prefer to have like an Ursula or a Troubadour. I mean, this can be taken out by cannons, which is something that is confirmed as being reprinted, and who knows what, like 2 isn't that hard to hit before it's exerted, right? Maybe he is safe. Again, we need to see the full card list, but I would have preferred more willpower, but it does make sense that Amber would have the higher willpower in their singers and Ruby are going to be higher strength, so pros and cons, right? Nonetheless, a great card to have. And our other power line, Musical Superstar. Let's go. 3-cost Inkable, 4/3, quest for 1, an electric move. If you played a song this turn, this character gains rush this turn. I actually think this low-key could be very, very good, but again, it depends on the songs, right? Because if we curve turn to that power line that we just looked at, or maybe we'll combine with Amber and we're able to play a different singer 4, but let's just say it's the power line. If there's something for him to sing between of cost 2, 3, or 4, then being able to sing that and then immediately put this down as a rush character. We know 4/3 is a super good stat line to have, like it's Fox, with the only difference being you're not returning a card to your hand, which we all know, like, bouncing things was good, but it's not a problem that this thing doesn't bounce if we can just rush it. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it's going to depend on how viable it is to sing a song with a character on turn 3. And it doesn't have to be your 2-drop, right? Maybe it's a 1-drop and there's a 1-drop song. Again, we need to see the songs, but this seems okay. Next up in Ruby, we've got Max Goof, Rockin Teen, 3-cost Inkable, 4/3, quest for 1, singer 5, and I just want to stay home. Your characters can't move to locations. Very on theme, love it. If Ruby are getting singers, then they should have 2-cost singer 4s and they should have 3-cost singer 5s. Amber has Gaston and Ariel, so we have that on a 4/3 body, which isn't bad, and the nerf being that he can't move to locations. And you've got to think that there's going to be some sort of mechanic in there is a Goofy that we will look at who moves characters to locations, and obviously that's very on theme with the movie, Goof dragging Max to locations. And this one in particular can't be moved to locations because he's a rockin' rebellious teen. So as always, in love with the theming of Disney Lorcana. But yeah, I look forward to seeing some more of the like move to location interaction sort of cards we're going to get of Goof and Max, and obviously some of them will hopefully be in this set, some still to be revealed, and that's something that we could get more of over the next couple of sets. So as a concept, I love that. But yeah, this is a 3-cost singer 5. Let's see what songs we get. Next up, we've got PJ Pete, Caught Up in the Music, 4-cost Inkable, 3/5, quest for 1, and shout out loud whenever you play a song. This character gets +2 strength this turn. If we do end up building a deck that has a lot of songs to sing, and like again, if it can end up looking anything like Steel Song, because Steel Song could like rely, with Whole New World at least, it was a safe bet it was going to play a song a turn. Like, that's what it wanted to be doing, right? So if you had characters that, like, benefited from you playing songs, then you could maybe warrant them. There was a time where we had Sleepy's flutes, right? Obviously, they fell off. So maybe even if we do have a lot of songs, we still don't find room for this. If you are singing a song, a 5/5 stat line on a forecast is not bad at all. It's just going to come down to, do we need that stat line, and how reliable is he actually getting that boost? But very on theme. Next up, we've got Roxanne. You don't want to put on that red light. Did you think of The Police or the movie Moulin Rouge? When I said that. Because I was thinking of Moulin Rouge, I'm not going to lie, but shout out to The Police. Roxanne, I actually think, is one of the best cards that we've had revealed so far. Powerline fan. She's a 2-cost Inkable 2/3, quest for 1, and concert lover. While you have a character with singer in play, this character gets +1 strength and +1 lore. So if you have a singer in play, she is a Mr. Smee who is not taking damage. I think this is really cool if we are consistently playing a character on 3 who's a singer. Maybe we get a 1-cost singer? Who knows? I think we need to be playing more often than not, a 3-cost singer. Because if you don't, then she's doing basically nothing. But I suppose you can just leave her there, even if you end up playing a singer on turn 4 or 5. Like, if your archetype is singers, and you think it's good odds that you're going to get them down enough, then this Roxanne is doing her job. I really like this card, to be honest. Let me know what you think about Roxanne down below, but I am a believer. And to finish off the Ruby cards, we have Mickey Mouse, Brave Little Prince. This is also getting an iconic, which looks absolutely stunning. He's a 3-cost Inkable, 2/3, quest for 1, shift 5, evasive, and while this character has a card under him, he gets +3 strength, +3 willpower, and +3 lore. So essentially, becomes a Chapter 1 Brave Little Tailor if he has a card underneath him, which we can achieve courtesy of shifting this Mickey Mouse on top of another Mickey. So we need to have a proper look at what Mickeys that we have left in the game. There's definitely an amber one that's being reprinted in this set, and a couple that are surviving rotation, but you gotta know over time we're always going to get more Mickeys, right? So I think this is really interesting, and this does seem to be a new mechanic that Lorcana are introducing. They've revealed imagery of the starter decks, and on the side of these starter decks, I'm not sure if I'm not certain actually if these cards are meant to have been seen, but they've released imagery where, yeah, it was really small, but I think it was kind of a way of teasing it officially. I hope so anyway, because I'm going to talk about it. There's a couple of cards on the starter decks that, I think one of them is a Simba. I might be wrong about the character, but the point being that they have an ability where you take the top card of your deck and you put it underneath the card, and then the card has an ability that says, while I have a card under me, I do this. That's really interesting. We're still to see any more of those cards revealed so far. I think this is the only one we have actually confirmed of that type, but that's going to be really interesting to keep an eye on. Something that might not be exclusive to this set. It's just being introduced in this set, and we see more of it in the future. And I quite like the concept, right? And then you can imagine support cards for that. Off the top of my head, you got to think there's a 1 jump ahead, which does, instead of inking it, but you take the top card of your deck and put it underneath one of your characters. So yeah, really interested to see a little bit more of that. But yeah, this card, if this could be really good, realistically. Turn 5 Brave Little Tailor. It depends how much evasive, how many evasive answers there are out there that can hit 5, or maybe songs, or just other ways of removing this. But I think this is really interesting and could potentially be very good. Open up your eyes, take a look at me. Get the picture fixed in your memory. I'm driven by the rhythm like the beat of a heart, and I won't stop until I start to stand out. Stand out. Some people settle for the typical things, living all their life waiting in the wings. It ain't a question of if, just a matter of time before I move to the front of the line. And what you're watching every move that I make, you gotta believe that I got what it takes. That goes way too high for me to stand out. That'll do. What an iconic Disney song and Disney moment, and we finally have it in the game. Stand Out, 3-cost Inkable, Emerald Song, chosen character gets +3 strength and gains evasive into the start of your next turn. I mean, this is okay. Like, we've had cards in the past, like You Can Fly, which was just giving evasive, never saw play. This also a song, slightly more expensive. That being said, if there's synergy with songs, like, again, at the moment, Muses is rotating out every chance that we get it back, or just other cards that just have good synergy with songs, like these Emerald decks that just want to be playing a lot of songs anyway, so maybe it ends up being worth a slot anyway because of that. The +3 strength is pretty significant, and this could be a way to, like, assure that you have answers to evasives, even if you're not doing the evasive thing yourself. At least it starts into the start of your next turn. It's okay. It's going to depend on how important evasives are in the meta. I mean, Genie is obviously going to be important, but how many other cards are there going to be that's relevant? And is it worth including just because it's also a song that can have some utility? So yeah, it's pretty cool. Next up, we've got Family Fishing Pole, 2-cost Inkable, Emerald item. This item enters play exerted, and the perfect cast. Exert, pay 1 ink, and banish this item. Return chosen exerted character of yours to your hand to gain 2 lore. So a 2 lore burst. Returning a character to your hand, we already know that that can be good, right? If they've got, especially if they've got come into play abilities, or it's just an aggro character that you're keeping safe. The fact that they have to be exerted is obviously a bit of a frown. It'd be nice to be able to just play something and then bounce it back to your hand. But yeah, it's interesting, and the 2-lore burst is cool. I could see this having a home in, like, you think of the Sapphire Emerald item decks that are playing, like, Oswald's and Rattigan's Marvelous Traps and Scrooge McDuck and stuff like that. Who knows how good they're going to be post-rotation, because obviously we're losing Tamatoa unless it gets the So Shiny one. Unless it gets reprinted, maybe that deck adapts. This is the sort of card that I could definitely see going in that sort of Sapphire Emerald heavy item deck. Obviously we're keeping Scrooge, so this one's interesting. One to keep an eye on, and again, the returning a character to your hand could be significant. You return an Ursula and replay that or whatever. So yeah, interesting card that I think could have a place in, like, a very niche specific item deck. Next up, we got Max Goof, Rebellious Teen, 3-cost Inkable, 2/2, quest for 1, and personal soundtrack. When you play this character, you may pay 1 ink to return a song card with cost 3 or less from your discard to your hand. So that's pretty cool. Again, hard to evaluate until we have the full list of songs and which ones are going to be 3-cost or less. Obviously, this works really well with Standout. That's a card that you could get back to your hand. So, yeah, this is pretty strong ability. Again, hard to judge the ceiling until we know the full list of songs. Like, if we're reprinting Friends, then immediately this is, like, a lot better. Still not necessarily like a staple and instant include. Definitely something worth testing. But yeah, we need to see the songs, but love it. Hey, we got Bobby Zimuruski, dude. 1-cost Inkable, 1/2, quest for 1. It's the Leaning Tower of Cheese. Love this guy, Spray Cheese Kid. And this card is really good. We've got the So Cheesy ability. When you play this character, you may draw a card and choose and discard a card. So a looter similar to first chapter Simba, and fairly recently Emerald got an Yzma that has this sort of effect. We know this is good. We know that this could absolutely come into decks that just want to be able to filter through, find the right pieces that they need, get those uninkables or those multiples out of their hand. And this could have a place in Chernodog, 100%. A deck like that wants to fuel the discard. I think this has got really high odds to actually see competitive play. So welcome, Bobby. Next up, we got Goofy, Set for Adventure, 2-cost Inkable, 2/2, quest for 1. Look at him, man. He's so sweet. Family Vacation. Once during your turn, whenever this character moves to a location, you may move one of your other characters to that location for free. If you do, draw a card. This is a pretty good ability. Again, lives or dies by the locations. We're losing a few. A couple have been confirmed as being reprinted. I think the last one I saw was Motunui. And there are one or more that have been confirmed as being reprinted. And obviously a few that were in sets 5 or 6. I can't Yeah, there were locations in set 7, but none in set 8. So yeah, we need to have a full look at all of the locations, and any of those locations that are like 2 or 3 to move there for really busted abilities, then suddenly this could create a lot of value, and drawing a card for doing this ability is really cool. So if there is a location deck to be built that wants to include Emerald, then this could absolutely reasonably be a part of it. So welcome, Goofy. Alright, our last Emerald card for the day, Genie of the Lamp. 4-cost inkable, 2/3, quests for 2, evasive, and let's make some magic! While this character is exerted, your other characters get +2 strength. So, obviously, in terms of the cost, evasive, the quest power, it is Genie Wish Fulfilled. It is the Amethyst Genie. We have 1 less willpower, and we're not drawing a card on play. I think the other Genie is better, but this is still pretty good. Oh, we're going to get a Brawl reprint. That's going to be a huge part of if this card can see play, because we know we're getting a strength reprint, but if it's only steel, then maybe we don't mind as much. This is again, evasive's great, this is cheap, it's inkable, questing for 2, and this ability could absolutely come in handy. I wish it included himself. Nonetheless, in a post-rotation world, I think this card has a real chance. It looks super cool, so yeah, welcome Genie. Alright, moving on to a little bit of Amethyst, we have Ursula, Voice Stealer. Let's go, look at this art, man. 5-cost inkable, 3/4, quest for 1, and sing for me, my angel of music. Come to the angel of music. That one's for the musical theatre fans. When you play this character, exert chosen opposing ready character. Then you may play a song with cost equal to or less than the exerted character's cost for free. Another example of clearly a very powerful ability, and obviously the sky's potentially the limit if you're exerting like a big character and you can sing a huge song. That's great. That all sounds well and good. We need to see what our full song list is for a start. But even if we end up with a ton of good songs, right? If your opponent does not have a ready character that is able to, of the cost of the song and you have a song that matches that cost, then this card is strictly terrible. Now, it is inkable, so if we're not getting any use out of it, then we can just ink it. Instinctively, as much as I thematically love the idea of this card, and I'm very excited to play around with it, and I hope there's some potential here, off the top of my head, I don't have a lot of hope for this card, because I feel like every time you get this, your opponent's going to have out, there was a great meme that Fumbles made where I think it was like, your POV, you're bored when you want to play, your opponent's bored when you want to play Ursula Voice Stealer, and it was like Daisy Piglet. And I was like, yes, that's what's going to be the case. But who knows, maybe when we get an idea of what the meta looks like, there are enough decks that we can expect realistically a good percentage of the time to have a character out on X turn that is able to sing a song that we have in our deck, and there are enough copies of that song or songs of that cost that we feel that we're going to consistently have all the pieces to this puzzle. If you ask me to place bet right now, I'm going to say I'm not convinced of how good this is going to be. Definitely fun, but I'd love to be proved wrong, because I would love on commentary to be able to just play into this ability 100%. So yeah, very cool. We'll see how good she ends up being. Alright, let's talk about Dumbo, 9th Wonder of the Universe. 4-cost inkable, 3/3, quest for 1, evasive, and then we've got 2 abilities. We've got Breaking Records, exert and pay 1 ink, draw a card and gain 1 lore, and Making History. Your other characters with evasive gain, exert, pay 1 ink, draw a card, and gain 1 lore. So this character has that ability built in, and then your other evasive characters gain that same ability. The ceiling here is pretty big. This sounds absolutely bonkers, and if you like, again, you try and picture the best case scenarios, right, where you don't even have to, like, obviously if you can exert this and use the ability to draw a card and gain 1 lore, then great. But you don't have to. You can let it just sit there, like, ready, and just be giving this ability to your other evasive characters, and you're like, they're still gaining you a lore per turn. Maybe you're missing out on some lore if they ordinarily quest for 2 or 3. But you're still gaining lore and you're drawing cards, and drawing cards as king, and you're just going to draw enough cards until you find that time to go, okay, I no longer need to use this ability, I'm just going to quest for the 2 or 3 that's on the card. But this potentially could be really, really bonkers. If you have ways of re-readying characters, then you could potentially do this multiple times. Like, this is absolutely a must-answer character. And how many answers are there going to be? Like, if we've got things like Smash, like Strength is obviously a great way of getting rid of this. But outside of Steel, like, how often are you going to be able to get rid of this? Do we need to start playing cards that exert characters just so that we can get and make sure we've got evasives of our own so that we can get it off the board before it's able to do anything? This is a very scary card that will absolutely see testing. And if you were asking me to place a bet, I'm like 80-20 on it being very good. And that's probably still me underselling it. So yeah, I think this could be really good. Again, need to see the full card set, but yeah, I like Dumbo. We got another Dumbo, 3-cost inkable, 2/2, quest for 1. He has evasive, and when you play this character, chosen character gains evasive until the start of your next turn. If without that, this would be awful, where they got a 3-cost 2/2 with evasive, only questing for 1. But giving evasive is pretty cool. Maybe it's a way of you answering opposing evasive characters. Like, again, Genie is a standout one, right? The Amethyst one with 4 willpower. Maybe we could play a 2-cost character that has 4 strength. Maybe it's like a 4 strength, 1 willpower, or 2 willpower, or something like that. It's a pretty reasonable stat line for a 2-cost sometimes. Probably a 4/1 more than likely. And then you play this and you're able to suddenly one-shot a Genie. Like, probably doesn't play the curve very well, but you get my point. I don't know, it's nothing spectacular. Definitely better because it gives evasive until the start of your next turn. So yeah, maybe if you're just like giving evasive to one of your like quest for 3 characters, like there are some 2-cost 1/1 quest for 3s. So that's interesting. Yeah, this could be cool. And we've got Timothy Q. Mouse, Flight Instructor. 2-cost inkable, 1/4 quest for 1. And let's show them, Dumbo. While you have a character with evasive in play, this character gets +1 lore. So if we assume that we're going to have be able to curve this and have play an evasive on turn 3, and we just look at this as a 2-cost 1/4 quest for 2, that's a fantastic stat line. So yeah, this could absolutely have a place in an Amethyst aggro deck. I like it. From the day we arrived on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there is more to see than can ever be seen, more to do than can ever be done. There is far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. It's the monster reborn circle of life. I had to do it. Finally, we have Circle of Life. 8-cost inkable, amber, legendary, sing together 8. Play a character from your discard for free. We've been waiting for so long. I made a prediction ages ago when Lorcana were teasing Remember Who You Are, the Emerald card. They showed the art to it, but we didn't know what it did. And I said, predicting it now, Monster Reborn. Obviously, that ended up being wrong. But good to know that I at least had I was pretty close concerning the theming. So yeah, playing a card from your discard for free, potentially super cool. Obviously, if you're paying 8 for this, then this sounds rarely good. Unless it's got a really good come into play ability. Although if you're both topping, and you're just able to put out a big questing guy, whatever's most relevant for the matchup or the situation, and that's like okay. But if you are able to sing together this, like pay nothing for this other than exerting a couple of preferably low cost singers and play a character for free, then that's pretty cool. Obviously lives or dies by how good the characters in your discard are. I think this card will work so much. We'll see play in an archetype that has self-mill. There is a Dale who, when you play him, you send the top 3 cards of your deck to the discard. And I've talked about this a lot in the past. There's a couple of cards in the game that you mill your own deck. One of them's Dale, I can't remember the other. There's at least one more that I can't remember off the top of my head. But as we get more cards like that where we mill the deck, and who knows, maybe even like, my Yu-Gi-Oh! Brain goes back to a card called Foolish Burial, which was just search your deck for a card and put it into your graveyard. Or it might have been a monster and put it into your graveyard. But yeah, if we had something like that, where you could, like, tutor something into the discard pile and then just play it, then obviously the potential for this is huge. How good is this going to be straight away? I think there's some potential there. I think a deck can be built around, like, taking full advantage of this. I think the character you need to have a lot of good come into play abilities. Like, we're getting a reprint of Maleficent Dragon, so like Ruby Amber potentially, like, again, as a singer deck. We already looked at Powerline, right? Like, he can sing this for free, so you can see the pieces there. It's just hard to evaluate how good they're going to be, but the ceiling's high. It's just how likely it is that we're going to be able to achieve these things that we want to do and do the thing. But I'm super looking forward to trying. So yeah, let me know what you think about Circle of Life. But if I was to make a guess, it's 2 thumbs up from me. Love it. I'm going to leave it there for today. We got through nearly all of the new cards. There's about another 8, and we still need to do, like, all of the reprints. But I'll do another one of these videos soon where we'll finish off the new cards, and hopefully there's been a couple more new cards revealed, and we'll start to go through the list of reprints. Obviously, that we won't need to go through all of those in as much detail, although I do want to be relatively newbie-friendly, but I think I'm going to wait until after the full set's been revealed, and I think I'm just going to, like, very early in set 9, I'm going to make some sort of, like, so you've just started playing Lorcana, like a meta refresh of a lot of the cards, and, like, use those videos to be beginner friendly. So yeah, in our reviews that we're doing, we probably won't spend too long on every single card in rotation unless we're, like, evaluating how good we think it's going to be post rotation, but we won't be reading them all for the first time. But yeah, some really exciting cards. Again, you know, I can understand some people being a little disappointed that such a small percentage of the set is new cards, but I think we've got some really interesting stuff there. I think that it's going to be the biggest impact on the meta that we've had so far, just because of rotation in and of itself. So that's going to be very exciting. The Enchanted look great. We'll go through all of those at some point. The epics that they've revealed. While recording this video, I saw the Bee King Undisputed epic, which, let's go. And the Kuzco epic, the Wanted Llama. Love it, mate. So yeah, I'm still very, very excited for this set. Let me know down below, what are your feelings on this set? Are you going to be, like, where were you? Were you like, I'm not going to buy this set, I'm just going to buy singles? And are you still there? Have you been won over by seeing some of these Enchanteds and epics? I'd be genuinely interested to hear people's thoughts down below, whether you're still hardcore, like, no, I'll just buy singles. Maybe your mind's been changed. Let me know. I want to hear all about it. But that's going to be it from me for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, please subscribe for all things Lorcana. Hit that like button to show your support, and we'll see you soon.